Hey there, YouTube. Just thought I'd take a few minutes here and post some analysis of the GOP South Carolina debate that just wrapped itself up here a few minutes ago. This was a 2-hour long debate. It was a pretty feisty one. And we were down to 4 candidates, with Perry having dropped out just a little bit earlier today. I thought that Ron Paul had a strong showing here. I think Gingrich did too. Gingrich, I don't think anyone denies his debate abilities. The night started off, though, with CNN asking him about his ex-wife and her statements to the media and that controversy there. And he really took a very sanctimonious stand and fired right back at CNN about that and got some good points from the audience. Ultimately, I don't know whether social conservatives are going to buy him painting himself as the victim here, or buy his act in defending the dignity of a woman who is in this position because of his own infidelity. But maybe they're irrational enough to not think of that. But he did come across pretty well tonight. He got weaker as the evening went on. Romney came across as kind of the polished, slick candidate that he is. I noticed in his closing statement he really wanted to run to the right and basically become an echo chamber of Ron Paul, talking about very limited government, free enterprise, and the Constitution. And it's interesting, especially having seen both of those two candidates in the 2008 race, it's interesting how much Romney has moved in that direction and how it's directly proportional to the support that Ron Paul has gained in both votes and the cultural support that those positions have gained. You didn't hear Romney saying anything close to that in 2008. He pretty much scoffed at the same ideas that he's now pretending to champion. He came across as though he came out of this debate, I think, as his usual polished self, and so we'll see how that goes over with South Carolina voters. Santorum got a lot of good blows in as far as taking down Romney and Newt, which was really kind of cool. My own biases being what they are toward Dr. Paul, it was kind of fun to sit back and watch Santorum just demolish those two. And then finally, when Ron Paul would come in and point out that, well, hey, Santorum really isn't, and he would bring up a position that Santorum had. I think the issue that this most strikingly happened on was government involvement in healthcare, where Santorum just demolished Gingrich and Romney for their single payers positions support, and then after he had so effectively done that, Ron Paul just pointed out that, well, Santorum supported the expansion of Medicare entitlements, so that really just left Ron Paul standing alone as really the only one with any credibility and history of supporting government being out of healthcare, which really is the solution. And so I think Ron Paul scored a lot of points there. One of the coolest moments was, it was obvious that CNN was still really trying to marginalize Dr. Paul as far as the amount of time they were giving him. I'm sure somebody will come up with all the times on the clock, but it was pretty clear to me that he did not get 25% of the face time in this debate, which one would expect, as being 1 out of 4 for him to get. There were a number of questions where they skipped him, but the most glaring moment was right towards the end of the debate when they asked the question to each of the other three about abortion. Now you have to keep in mind here that Dr. Paul, before and even while he was in Congress, is a practicing OBGYN. He's delivered thousands of babies. And for them to not go to him on abortion, which they attempted to do, it was just too glaring for even the hand-picked audience there. So they went to the other three, and the CNN moderator was about to skip Ron Paul on that question and come to him with the next question. And the audience got very vocal and started to boo. And the moderator said, "Oh, well, you want him to answer this question?" And Ron Paul scored some points when he just pointed out, "Well, that hey, I am a doctor. Maybe I have something to say on this abortion issue." In fact, not only a doctor, but a doctor that specializes and has delivered thousands of babies. And so he was not only able to get points there, but then he took advantage of the fact that CNN then at that point felt pretty sheepish, as they should have. And he spoke for an elongated period of time and laid out his position on abortion. And Santorum tried to jump in and claim that Ron Paul is not as pro-life as he is, because Ron Paul doesn't want all of the same federal measures and federal level of involvement in abortion. And that really backfired on Santorum, and I think that gave Ron Paul a foot in the door for probably was one of the best sections of dialogue that he got in all night, when he explained to Santorum that his position was he wasn't any weaker on abortion, but that he respected the constitutional limits on where and how it needed to be addressed, which is at the state level. And he also got a chance to point out that a lack of federal involvement would mean instant overturning of Roe versus Wade. And so I think he came out, I'd say if you're watching the first hour of the debate, Gingrich was the clear winner. You're watching the second hour of the debate, I think Ron Paul took it. So it'll be interesting to see. I'd expect both of them to trend higher in the polls in the next couple of days, and probably do better in the results of the election than what they were trending at before that debate. We'll just have to see how it shakes out.